Hello everyone and welcome back to another BCP library video. My name is Katie and today I'm going to be doing some creepy crawly crafts with you. We have a really fun spider colouring page, spider's web, some Pom Pom Bugs and a paper chain snake. As always, feel free to pause the video at any point so you can catch up with what I'm saying and you can watch some bits back if you want to. So let's get on with it. So first of all, I'm going to be colouring in this colouring page and you can get this for free in the link in the description down below. You can download it and print it off yourself. And I am going to be colouring it in with my crayons. It is a spider wearing lots of socks and I'm going to use my wax crayons because I like using wax crayons, but you can use whatever art supplies you have at home. You might also want to stick bits to your picture. You can maybe stick some wool onto the spider if you want to make him a little bit more fluffy. You can stick sequins onto your socks. You can stick stars on. You can just do whatever you like. I'm just going to be colouring it in simply just to show you. But I'm going to make my spider very, very colourful because I like to wear lots of colourful clothes myself. So I want to make the spider look colourful too. And this is just an idea that you can do if you don't have a lot of craft supplies at home, you don't have any of the materials, you can just print off the colouring page and colour it in. So I'm just finishing off now, giving him some bright leggings and some really bright multicoloured socks. And now that all the socks are done, I'm going to colour in the stars with a metallic crayon. You might have some glittery gel pens, and I also have a cat stamp as well, just to go in the background because it goes with the nice spooky theme. And I'm just using a silver gel pen on the spider's web. And that's really all. It's quite a simple colouring page, but you can print one off and decorate it however you want to. You can do a collage, like I said, you can colour it all in. Maybe you would want to colour the background in a nice galaxy or a dark blue or a dark black just to make it look like it's nighttime. It's totally up to you, but here is my finished picture. So now I'm going to show you how to make the paper chain snake, and for this you just need some paper. I've got some green paper, but white paper is absolutely fine too. And you need to turn it landscape and just cut it into strips like I'm doing here. I'm cutting it quite thick strips like this, and then I'm folding them in half and cutting it in half so we have half size strips because we want our chains to be quite close together. And I'm just decorating mine. You don't have to, it's up to you. I'm just doing some spots, some zigzags in different colours. And then you just need to get a glue stick, add a bit of glue to the inside and wrap it round like a chain. You might have made these paper chains before for a party that you've decorated. It really is just making a tight paper chain like I'm doing here. And there's 3 so far. It will take quite a bit of time to make a long snake. It depends how long you want your snake to be. But here is my finished chain. There we go. And now I'm just doing a tail, which is just fold a piece of paper in half and cut a long triangle. And I've added some spots to it as well. And I'm just looping it through and gluing it around the point of the triangle so it will stay and it will act as another chain. So there is our snake's tail. It's a little bit of a shorter snake because I didn't have too much time, but you can build your snake up as long as you want to. And for the snake's head, I've just got a piece of paper and cut a circle and joined up to a rectangle and folded it in half again. And this will be the head, and we're going to use our glue stick again just to close it off, but I've added a little tongue in mine. I've got a little bit of pink felt. You can use some paper, it's totally up to you. And I'm just sticking my head together like this. And I'm also going to add some googly eyes. You can either do this or you can draw yours on, it's totally up to you. But here is my snake's head, and just making sure he is nice and secure. So now I'm just adding on some googly eyes like this. You can either use some glue or you might have the peelable version at home. Mine don't peel, so I'm just using a little bit of PVA school glue to add my eyes onto my snake. And when you are done, you will have a snake that moves because it is a chain, and you can make it sliver all over your table, all around your house. Maybe you can play some pranks on your friends. And here is the finished snake. So now I'm going to show you how to make some Pom Pom Bugs, and these are the little pom-poms that we are going to make, and for this we just need some wool and a fork from the kitchen. Just make sure you ask permission to take one from the kitchen, and you just need to cut a length of wool, quite long but not too long, and this will be what we tie our pom-pom together with. So we need to put this in the middle of our fork, in the middle hole like this, and just hold it as we wrap around the wool around the whole fork like this. You don't want to wrap it along the whole fork, just a little section in the middle like I'm doing here, and you want to put a fair amount of wool around but not too much, so just wrap it around like I'm doing here and until you get to a kind of a medium thickness, and make sure the wool is evenly wrapped around the fork. You might want to get a grown-up to help you with this, just to help you get the right thickness and to help you tie some knots. But it's really simple. All you're doing is wrapping it around the fork like this and just making a really nice pom-pom. And you want to get it about as thick as I've got it here. And once you have done that, you can cut off the excess wool, and then the piece from earlier, we are going to tie it all the way around like this, tie it through the middle and tie it really tightly, and add another knot just to secure it. And you need to tie this as tight as you possibly can, and this is the part where you might need to get a grown-up to help you. And just make sure you tie it really tightly. And once you have tied off your pom-pom, you then need to take it off of the fork like this, and then you can take those two pieces, those two ends, and then take it round to the back and tie another knot, because this will make sure it is nice and tight and that the pom-pom will not unravel. So there we go, just tie one knot and then another knot, and again you can maybe get a grown-up to help you because it is a little bit easier with two people. So there we go, I have tied a knot on the front and on the back. And now all we need to do is cut it. So we are just cutting around the bits that were around the edge of the fork. As you can see, we're just cutting through all of the loops, all along one side and the other side, and just cutting off any excess bits, because some bits might look a tiny bit longer than others, and just giving it a little bit of a trim and then pulling it out. And there we have a nice little woolen pom-pom. And once you have your pom-poms, you can add some googly eyes, and you can use some PVA or school glue for this. Pritt Stick won't be sticky enough, so I recommend some PVA school glue, and just put a little dab on some googly eyes. And you could also cut out some felt for the feet, which I've done for two of my bugs, and I've got some pipe cleaners that I twisted together, and we are going to make spiders out of these two. And you just need to make sure you leave them to dry for a good while before you start playing with them. And I also added some little fangs, which I cut out of some white felt. And after I left them to dry, I was able to play around with them. And I think these are very cute, but also a little bit scary bugs that you can make quite easily yourself at home. And finally, we're going to make a spider's web craft. And for this you need some card, a plate, some wool and some scissors. And the plate is just to draw around. So just get your card and put your plate on top like this, draw all the way around it. My plate is slightly bigger than my piece of card, but it doesn't matter because we can trim it down in a moment. And once we have our circle on our card, we can cut it out with some scissors like this. Just cut it neatly all the way around. And then once we have cut it out, cut a few slits in the side like I'm doing here. You can do as many or as few as you want. I didn't do too many, but it's totally up to you. I'm trying to space them out as evenly as possible. And then we need to get some wool again, and we are going to just be threading it through the slit. So we just thread a little bit through like that and leave a tail at the back because we can tie it off later. So leave a little tail, and then I'm just trying to make the shape of a spider's web first of all do the crisscross bit in the middle and go round the back and then through another one and putting it opposite. And once I have done that, I went round all the sides, so like this. And it is just a case of winding it through and weaving it through. And once you have the cross shape and all the sides, so we have some triangles, you can then be a little bit more haphazard with your weaving, and you can tie it so it doesn't stay in the same place. You can weave it through the middle bits and just tie it so you get some really cool and interesting patterns. And it doesn't have to be so neat and perfect. It can look as haphazard as you like, and just make sure you tie your knots quite tightly. So once you are happy with your spiderweb design, you cut off the excess wool from the back and you can tie it together from the tail that we left earlier. So here we go, we are going to just tie it together. I left mine a little bit too short, so you need to make sure that you leave quite a lot of wool so it will be easier for you to tie. And once I had done, I added some tiny little spiders all the way over the piece of card. And this might be easier for you to draw before you start threading your wool, but I wasn't clever enough to work this out. I decided to draw the spiders on afterwards, but that is my tip for you, is to decorate your piece of card with spiders or whatever you want to before adding your spider web to it. So here is the finished spiderweb, and I'm quite pleased with it. I think it looks like lots of spiders have helped each other to make this. So these are all the creepy crawly crafts from this video. I hope you have enjoyed it and I hope you are inspired to make your own. You don't have to follow it exactly, you can just use this video as a guide and to give you some ideas. And don't forget, you can print the colouring page in the description down below. But that's all for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!